Hello, and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City. I'm Cortney Bloomer here in our studios at the Brewery Arts Center with this week's guest, Carson City supervisor, Karen Abowd. Karen, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We are thrilled that you're here on our Christmas edition of It's Your City, and lots to talk about today. You're involved in an exciting new project that is hopefully coming soon to downtown Carson City. Tell us what that is.
Well, the Harvest Hub, which is something that was conceived about almost 2 years ago now, when Stephanie Gardner was still here in town and still running Food for Thought. She was our fearless leader on that project, and it actually started as the result of us both attending, and I think, Cortney, you may have been there too.
I was there as well.
Healthy Communities, which was held in Silver Springs. And the discussion at that point in time was about having a harvest hub or something of that nature where local farmers could come to market and also provide some sustainability components for the nonprofits in the community, because grants and things of that nature are becoming fewer and fewer, but need is a continuing thing.
Right.
And also since we knew quite well that Food for Thought, the Greenhouse Project, Ron Wood, Boys and Girls Club, you're feeding, in many cases, folks that are used to preparing food on a microwave and a hot plate. And so fresh product, which is what we provide, the Greenhouse Project provides fresh produce on a rotating basis to Ron Wood, to Fish, to Salvation Army, and to Circles Initiative. And we find that they don't know how to prepare that. And so the Harvest Hub would also, with a kitchen in it, would allow us the ability to provide cooking classes as a requirement for taking home the food that we provide.
So this really is a hub for the community. This is a place for farmers and producers.
Right.
Maybe also some folks who do some home type canning or baking.
That's
those
the other
sorts of
component,
things.
because there is a need, and of course a facility like that needs to be sustainable in some way, shape, and form. And there's a need for commercial kitchens, because the cottage industry, which has been approved, requires that. And so we would be able to lease out our facilities, on a scheduled basis for that. So long story short, we pursued a different avenue, which was constructing an entirely new facility, but the numbers grew exponentially to almost $750,000. And for nonprofits to pitch in for a sustainability model, it really didn't make sense. So a year ago, actually, at Christmas time, we tabled the whole thought process. And in that interim, Stephanie left and moved to Las Vegas, and Amanda Long took over the helm, and you did for a little while.
Right, I was involved in the leadership and still involved in the in the process now that it's sort of getting going again.
That's right.
And this is something that really fills a need in our community for a lot of different groups.
It does. And so we tabled this scenario, though the nonprofit had been formed, because there just wasn't a facility with a kitchen in it that was centrally located. Well, a few months back, Jeanette Kelly, who is the owner of the Horseshoe Club, and had approached me about the fact that perhaps their facility might be a good location for us. And so a few weeks back, members of our board, yourself included, toured the facility, and we all knew immediately that it was
right, a good
perfect.
fit. It's a great
really
downtown location, and with the development that's going to be taking place downtown, this is really filling one of those empty storefronts there in that downtown corridor that the city has worked so hard to revitalize.
That's right. So it's a win-win in many levels, and also the construction price tag to retrofit the space was much less than what we had. And even if you doubled that amount with having to buy appliances and things of that nature, still very, very
much
affordable.
more affordable.
Correct. So Linda Maroney, who is part of our board, is...
And who runs the farmers market downtown. Folks might be familiar with her from that venue.
That's right. And she's excited about this because it allows local farmers a year-round place to sell their wares, so to speak.
Yeah, that's probably a good way for the community to think of the Harvest Hub. Is it's sort of like a year-round farmers market.
It is. And, looking at the model of the Great Basin Food Co-op as, sort of an example for us, we would also have a juice bar component, and as in, juicing fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. And we would also sell those dry goods that, a lot of us are going to Whole Foods to get that just aren't available to us here.
Right, bulk grains and things like that.
That's right. So, we're really excited about the concept, and Linda's going to work forward on a fundraising dinner after the first of the year. Not quite sure when that will be yet, but...
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, that's right. It will be coming, and we're really pretty excited about this. It feels right. And it feels like a great location. And in moving forward, I'm not sure which nonprofits will actually come together to be the final synthesis of this Harvest Hub, but we do know that it's a very viable model for preserving and helping and continuing to provide what we do provide for the community.
Absolutely. And Karen, you've demonstrated for many years now a commitment to growing the food movement here in Carson City with the Greenhouse Project,
That's right.
Of course, and feeding people of all stripes in Carson. You and your husband, of course, own Adele's, the mainstay restaurant here in Carson City. So food is something that has long been a passion of yours.
It has been, and having folks eat healthy product is even more of importance to me. And I hate for need to be subjected to just eating prepackaged foods that really aren't healthy. That just creates its own set of problems. So this is an opportunity to educate, to try and continue to grow a healthy community, which was where this all started.
Absolutely, and I think that education piece is so important and something that gets overlooked a lot of the time. Giving people access to healthy food, as you mentioned earlier, is not always enough. Right. Experiencing new food, it doesn't come, an apple doesn't have instructions on the back of it. How can I cook this? How can I make this into a meal? And getting to try new things and getting to understand how to prepare those things in a way that your family is gonna want to eat, and in a way that is a healthy meal, and how you can add things that you might already have in your pantry to some of these great, fresh, locally grown ingredients that are going to be available at the Harvest Hub.
That's right. And an advantage for us now is that Amanda, who has Chide Cooking and is kind of our fearless leader in this project going forward, will be a great interface with this, as will Linda Maroney. And I think it's a real positive step forward for our community and very exciting.
Absolutely, and we're thrilled that you're part of it and working hard to bring opportunities like this to Carson City. So, other things that are going on?
Well, tomorrow at Adele's is not Holiday for a Hero. I just did that Wednesday.
That just took place, and a wonderful event.
It was a
wonderful event to provide kids in need in
Wonderful.
Carson City with a chance to go shopping. Hugely successful. The kids had an amazing time.
It was incredible. I was a wrapper, so it was great, seeing what they would purchase and they'd purchase for their whole family, and that was amazing. And tomorrow
at Adele's, Cookies with Santa.
Cookies with Santa, yes. And Tom Streckel is our illustrious Santa. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
From KUNR. And the proceeds and toys, Ron Wood Family Resource Center will collect and distribute for community, for folks in need. And so this gives Joyce that last boost, because there's always more that needs to be given out than there are resources.
Right,
so
families in the community go to Ron Wood and ask to be on the list.
That's correct.
To receive Christmas gifts
Right.
for their children. And so this is one way that Ron Wood is able to get gifts. Tell people what they need to do to participate tomorrow.
To participate, it begins at 11, ends at 2. We charge a nominal fee of $5 for adults. Cookies and hot chocolate are free to the kids, and pictures will be provided at no charge when they sit on Santa's lap. And all we ask is that they bring a toy, unwrapped, and put it under the tree so that it can be collected to be distributed. So that's all you need to do.
Sharing the Christmas cheer throughout the community, and making sure that everyone in Carson City has a chance to have a Merry
right.
Christmas.
That's right.
That's coming up tomorrow at Adele's. The time again?
11 to 2.
11 to 2, Cookies with Santa. And we are approaching Christmas coming up this Friday, and I certainly want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
And you too, Courtney.
And to everyone in our community, have a very Merry Christmas, Carson City. Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City, and thanks to you, Karen, for being here as well.
Happy to be.
We'll see you next week.